feel like you're just going through the motions in life? This podcast is for you. A while back, I felt just like you. It wasn't until I heard that whisper in the wind, Nadine, learn to podcast. Now I'm on a journey of discovery, interviewing others who have also leaped into the unknown. I'm Nadineo, creator of the Over 50 You Are Not Done Yet show, a podcast about personal awakenings, spiritual connections, and stories of joy. Shall we begin?
Line, shape, form, light, surface. These 5 things, sure, there's 7 or maybe 13, but these 5 right here is what you use every day in your life, from the minute you got out the womb to this very moment right now.
Artist, teacher, and coach Don Stevens believes art is everything, that art is life itself. Today, Don shares his perspective on art, living as a full-time artist, and the artist that is inside all of us. We begin with what has impacted all our lives at the time of this recording, the COVID-19 pandemic. I guess we have to bring up the fact that the whole world has experienced COVID-19 pandemic. How are you adjusting to being an independent contractor, an artist, and making money and reaching?
I was fine before COVID came. Sometimes I wish I would have had the COVID-19 so I could feel better about the whole experience. I tell people, my pockets caught COVID. Because soon as it came in, they closed down all the parks and recreation centers and all the elder centers. This is where I hustle. This is where I do a main, like 80%, 85% of my bottom line is covered by going to the elder community and servicing these people creatively. Now you shut that down, it's like, oh man. Now that 15 or that 10 to 25% or 10 to 20% of me making it off my artwork, I had to jump up real fast because you don't have that much clientele if you're focusing on other things. So I had to really diversify and come back to the internet and say, okay, I got to do these videos. I got to do everything that's newly said pounding the street. That's all it is. It's pounding the street. If somebody gives me a friend or a like on a certain picture, 100 people give me likes. I'm going through that like list and I'm sending everybody a message. And I'm dry selling everybody. Hey, how are you today? Hope your holiday is going well. Well, if you love this artwork, why not love it enough to make it join and make your whole environment bright and loving too as well? Hey, please give me a call. Or you know what, better yet, go to the Cash App and put it in and leave a note and let me know you want it. Yeah, I saw it. The digital world is nothing more than a microcosm of the street. I'm a street kid. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. That's why I like North Philly. That's why I like the streets of Philly. You see? People that come from New York, they love Philly for that reason, especially if you're from a hardened area. The first place you get intrigued by is South and North Philly.
I want to know what your dream is. You know, what's your...
my thing is, I don't dream if I'm living it.
Ooh.
If I'm living it, how am I dreaming?
So you're living the dream.
Marine Corps for that. They said, Stevens, you need to dream. I said, no, sir, I don't need to dream if I'm living.
Wow.
If I'm doing it, it's not a dream. I would be in factory building. Like when I was at Coca-Cola, I had a manager over there tell me, hey, Stevens, you dream too much. I said, no, I don't. I'm observing you, watching me, seeing if I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm an artist. I'm going to do what I need to do, and then I'm going to leave you alone. No, you're not. You're a warehouse worker. No, sir, I'm an artist, and I lease out a little bit of my time. See, I understood that. I lease out a little bit of my time as a warehouseman. I never let anybody change that thought in. No one. Not even my own mother. At a certain point, you can't, once you make a decision, whether it be take a job, be independent, it's all the same thing too. You got to have discipline to get up every morning to go to a certain place.
You
I
sure?
watched my mother when we moved to New Jersey in '87 because I graduated and she didn't want me to be a crack dealer. You know what I mean? So we moved to South Jersey, Willingboro over there, across the water from Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I came to Camden in Philadelphia to find all the hoods.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
It is a lot
It's a
to
lot.
think about, to hold on to your identity and not let others sway you. And there's so many that get swayed.
Well, you have to ask yourself the decisions that they're making.
Mm-hmm.
You see, most people get weakened because they start thinking that life is about acquiring.
Mm-hmm.
Is life all about acquiring things?
No.
Is there other ways to get people's attention without having to acquire things to get their eye?
Mm-hmm.
And is that living or is it not living? These are some of the questions that I was running into. That's why I said I didn't understand how to live until 50.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I would say 45 to now, because
Mm-hmm.
I really feel like I'm in my stride right now. I'm understanding the independence game. I'm
Mm-hmm.
understanding the accounting. So I'm revamping all of that. I'm redoing all that paperwork to put it in proper alignment to really beat up the next 20 years, that if I'm guaranteed 20 years
Mm-hmm.
from drinking water and eating quinoa.
Oh, there you go.
And crunching on chia seeds and almonds and walnuts.
For people who may be in the second stage of their life and they want to go out on their own and create a business, what suggestion would you have for them to make sure that they are able to keep their finances in order? Like, where did you
Start with
go?
self first.
Mm-hmm.
Start with self first, meaning that you have to confirm in yourself by looking in the mirror.
Mm-hmm.
You're almost making a covenant with yourself. Are you really prepared to make this journey that I'm wanting to make?
Mm-hmm.
I would say take at least 30 days. If you got a job, don't leave the job yet. Take 30 days to assess that part of it, because
Mm-hmm.
you got to be strong within what it is you want to do. So if you're going to want to do that, whatever it is, merchandising, fashion, getting a restaurant for cooking, a seamstress work, anything, you got to be able to say to yourself, this is it. I'm doing it, and that's that. I'm not being deterred by anything.
Mm-hmm.
Then you look at your savings and stuff and say, if you have a job already, if you haven't done it early, like for me, I did all this stuff earlier on, and I dedicated myself to what it is I wanted to do. I said, if it didn't have art combined with it at a certain point, I'm not doing it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not going to do a factory job no more. I'm not going to do any of these other jobs no more, because I have to focus in on making experiences that's worthwhile within art,
Mm-hmm.
whether it be directly to the public or to a corporation. So advice for people over a certain point, and say, for instance, you're coming close to retirement.
Yeah.
You still want to assess you first. Are you really serious?
Mm-hmm.
Then once you get that together, now you got to look at, all right, I don't have a wife and kids, so I don't have to take that into consideration.
Right.
But most people that do this, male or female, they're going to have to take that into consideration.
Mm-hmm.
Is my partner, now we got to say whether male or female, built for this journey I'm about to take us through?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Are my kids, are they older through high school, or are they going to need more attention? Are they built for daddy or mommy to do what it is that I'm about to do, irregardless if they like it or not?
Mm-hmm.
You see, it really has to go to that point with whatever you choose.
Yeah.
You can say you're going to be a massage therapist. Okay, I'm going to be a massage therapist. I don't care what nobody else thinks. I'm gonna get all these high-end customers. But you got to start with self first. The people in your environment, if you have people in your environment. Now look at your economics. You see, because then you can say, okay, if you got a wife or a husband, you can count some of their finance in on your investment, in your activity.
Because
that's generally how it works.
Yes.
You see, that's why I'm upset I don't have a wife. I don't have a partner I can kick that off of. You know what I'm saying? So that when it comes in, I can say, baby, what we get? Yeah. Well, babe, you made this much this year. This is what we got. Oh, where we going? You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's a team.
But, right. But when you don't have a team, it becomes more of you having to be real dedicated to your thought. Mm-hmm. So I would say to people, I would rather you have a teammate than be secular. Mm-hmm. Because you get, caught up in things a lot of times, but you just got to keep focused. Once you know your finance, now you know your finance, everything is going to be covered as far as your immediate bottom line, rent, shelter, water, you know what I mean, clothing. The basic things is covered. All right, now you got to look at yourself and say, what are my want and desires once again? Because if I want something and I start getting a little bit of money in, then I buy these high-class boots for $4,000. What am I doing? Mm-hmm. If I get the Benz or the Range Rover, you see what I'm saying? Just because I made a little bit of profit, well, in my first 3 years, you're not supposed to buy products like this. Mm-hmm. You're supposed to be focused.
Focus, go right back into the business.
You got to roll it back in. You don't pay yourself. Even if you're a sole proprietorship, this is how I found out, coming towards 45 and 50. Even if you're there, you put into the books that you're paying one person. Mm-hmm. That one person is you. Mm-hmm. So you give yourself a salary. I didn't realize that, but now I do that. Mm-hmm. You see, that makes business better too. More opportunities comes in. Now that gives more people, I would just say as creditors, opportunities to trust that if I throw something your way, I'm going to get something back, and it's going to get done in an expedient fashion.
Gotcha.
You see, it's a lot of different things that go into it. I don't believe it's a quick fix situation. Each person is their own individual. Your household has its own dynamics. Mm-hmm. You see, like for me, I'm split. I'm in a home sharing a condo with a group of cousins in South Jersey. I come over here, I'm in Philly in my studio space. Mm-hmm. You see? So that's my dynamic. Is that going to be everybody's dynamic? Nah, it can't be. Mm-hmm. Before that, I had the house with my mother, and we had other family members there, and I had a double-car garage that I converted over into my studio space. Mm-hmm. With paint outside like Jackson Pollock. Mm-hmm. You see? So that was another dynamic. So you're going to go through transitions, but you got to know inside that that's the journey that you want to take. And anybody that gets on the bus to get on the road, they got to understand that's what it is. Mm-hmm. And you have to stay stern on that. If you don't, then self-preservation is number one. Mm-hmm. And everybody's selfish at the end of the day. And I tell people now, I know I had a lot of people get mad, and excuse me, I don't want you to get mad, but I say this when people say certain things to me. I go, no life matters but my own.
Wow. Yeah, because
at the end of the day, yeah.
You have
think
to
about it. At the end of the day, you go to the bathroom and you take a shower and you decompressing from your day. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Right, Nadine? What happens? You don't think about your mom or nobody. You go, oh my God, I made it. Right. You think about you. Mm-hmm. So at the end of the day, nobody else matters but you.
Yeah, I think definitely it should start there. You have to love yourself and care about yourself first before you can.
Yep. Can't lie to yourself. Can't look in the mirror and do the proverbial BS. Mm-hmm. Or shook and jive yourself. If you do that, that's deadly. I got friends that's, just coming back around from taking a left and then got caught up.
Yeah, you can get caught up. Even, getting caught up in a corporate world can be challenging too, because
all of it though. You can get caught on the low end, on blue collar. Mm-hmm. And when you get caught in that blue collar, it can be oppressive too as well as the white collar in the corporate.
It's deep.
Yeah, because once you fix on that income, that's what controls your day. And people play you by it. That's the part I didn't like.
Don and I have a question. Can you sign your name? You're an artist. We invite you to check out our Let's Create video on my YouTube channel. The link is in the show notes. More with Don Stevens coming up. We were talking about how as one goes, another is replaced. That's what you said in terms of if you have 50 paintings,
Yeah, like I don't put in my mind that it's like, oh my God, I got 50 orders. I got to do 50 paintings. No, I put in my mind, okay, this is my business. This is my journey. I got 50 offers in. This is great. Okay, I got to strategize to get these done in an efficient manner. When is my done date? Oh, I got to be done by next week. Okay, that means I might have to do 5 today. Mm-hmm. And then by the end of the day today, meaning at around about 10 or 11 o'clock tonight, I need to have those 5 done. So then if they're not done, they're close to being done so they can dry. I take a nap, then I come back and start the next 5. Mm-hmm. Now, once I build up a rhythm, I may put in 10 on the day going towards the end of what it is I'm saying these all have to be done. Mm-hmm. You see, I'm not worried about them being shook by number. I look at resolution. So it's the same thing. It's like when you know, those orders come in, that customer is not going to, like, put it to you this way then, I don't think like a stereotypical artist did. I think like an illustrator painter, meaning like a Norman Rockwell type, like a Pinkston's type. You know what I mean? These artists that can give you an illustration that can function for the marketplace, but then also give you a existential piece that may go someplace that can't be controlled, but it's attractive. That's the painter's world. So I can be an illustrator. It's because of my training too. I can be an illustrator because in high school, I told you my early training was the industrial arts and everything else. So I knew how to do pen and ink and all that good stuff, prep a photograph and all of that. So to be like this whimsical, you know, artist that's, oh, I can't be constrained. I'm not that type of stereotypical artist. I'm not the type of artist that likes to fall for the, oh, you're a poet and all this good stuff. No, I'm a real man from a real part of society that really does art, does creativity. No, and nothing against nobody that's asexual, beta, all of that. I'm not even alpha. I don't fit into all of that. I'm ethereal. I'm above it all, and I'm just creating. And I'm charting my experiences as I go. I read books by a gentleman named Ben Shan, and he said one of the things the artist should be able to do is have an experience, because art is all about having an experience. You see, Henry Osawa Tanner, you see, Charles White. That's my mentor that I never met because I got all his books. That's why I started off doing charcoal drawings. And it was because of my mother's sister, my Aunt Terry. She was the educated one. She went to nursing school. She was an RN at Trenton Psychiatric Ward, master nurse at the end of the road, you know? So she was the one that introduced me to all of that stuff, Cobra. She was one of those prolific Black women back in the day that was all about, you know, grassroots and everything else. But she was all about her bread too. So that's why she became a nurse rather than anything else, because she's sure she can be a psychiatric nurse to make money. And she said, plus I like playing with people's minds. So this is the person that I learned through on all that stuff. So, you know, I don't look at business for an artist in a traditional way, especially even now. Like I filled out things to be able to upgrade everything. You see how I didn't have the buds? I'm saying this is part of the new package of the artist today. Yes. You got to be, you have to have some type of technological soundness, I guess, if that's politically correct to say it that way. I don't know. You know what I mean? But you got to be tech sound. You got to know if you got the right phone. You got to know, you know, if you don't have a lot of money, what laptop you can use to convert pictures over to get them to where they need to go to get people to see them. Because I believe now that we're at this stage of what we're talking about, I think the whole traditional way on how we look at art, galleries and all of that, it's in jeopardy right now. Because some of these virtual things, if you look over in Paris, they did a whole light show with a Van Gogh show with a virtual show that went with it. Wow. And garnered success with the virtual aspect. So then, do I really want to keep the brick and mortar if I'm getting this virtual thing off? It's a lot of art galleries and stuff that you may see fall or leave a certain arena because they put that type of pressure on if they don't change this, you know, how would say, touching rule, as I call it.
Like what you hear? Subscribe, like, and share this with your friends and family. Much appreciated. Yeah, and I actually spoke with two women that run an organization called Philly Touch Tours that actually take groups of people, some with visual impairments, into like museums. They're part of like Penn Museum, so that you have a different experience of the art. And it goes beyond that. You can't touch it. And I think not so much that museums are in jeopardy. They're being challenged to change the way in which people experience art, and they have to be more creative about it. And I think that touch. You're going.
Yeah, because I'm just hearing you all the way out before I say something. That's been my problem earlier on. So I've learned how to be still and listen before you react.
Right.
You know what I mean? You don't want to jump off the porch and get beat up. You know what I mean?
No, but I'm saying it because like virtual reality is about that whole 360 experience. Like you're walking in it without being there. So what I'm saying is that we're being prepared for different ways of experiencing things because of the power of the mind. The mind. Yeah. So now expound from what I just said, because you're smiling.
All right. What I'm saying is that puts the artist like myself in a unique and interesting situation. Because now if you don't have a lot of art galleries that are saying, hey, submit your work.
Yeah.
And then now if you have to submit it digitally and you don't have the means to do it yourself or understand how to set up something to do these lights and everything yourself, you're shot in the foot. I'm lucky because I went to art high school and learned how to set up a space for lighting for cinematography. Not because I wanted to be a cinematographer. It was because it was in the art school and they said you learn everything before you see.
Right.
But imagine if you don't have that and you're an artist that's just doing PDS.
Yeah.
How are you really connecting?
Yeah.
See, how are you really connecting? Because if they take away the tactile or minimize the tactile aspect of it, well, how are you going to instruct? I've seen some of these, instructions remotely, and it's hard because they have a picture on a model, and then you really can't interact with the model and the student at the same time. You got a piece of plastic or glass between you and them. So that's a very interesting and mind-blowing situation when you're talking about art going into the future.
Right.
Because then what's the next step after that? Well, holographic stuff then. Non-being around at all to have an experience.
Which was kind of where I was going with it,
Well, I understand, but I'm saying that's also a danger. Because human beings are based upon touch.
I know.
It's a sense.
Yeah.
You can't get around it. You'll go crazy without it. I don't care if you're with males or if you are male and you're with males or females. The bottom line of the day is that you want the touch.
Yeah.
And if you can't get that physical, this right here, you'll go crazy.
Right. Even babies, infants that are born,
they go crazy.
They go crazy. They need touch. I think
gotta have it.
It goes beyond sexuality. It really is.
Yes, that's what I mean. It goes into understanding how to be educated, how to learn. Like if you take away touch and just put in, visual to mind, the body is going to deteriorate.
Yeah.
Or cause stress to the mind. Or to both minds, upper and lower at that point. You know
at that point. For you.
Yeah, because now you be constipated, everything else, and and you be craving things and don't know why you're craving things. You need a touch. Everybody needs a hug. When somebody wants a rub on their back, My mama left, and I'm still looking for a hug like my mama's.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I get mad at my aunties. It's like, why don't y'all hug me like mama did, man? Hey, y'all her homegirl. Y'all don't know how to do it. What's going on here? I don't get the feeling. Yeah.
Yeah.
Think about it. When you first came out the womb, who they put you on? Mama.
Yeah. That's so
to have the touch.
Mm-hmm.
Instantly, when you first come out, they don't realize that their touch is more important than mama's touch at that point because it's an infiltrator.
Mm-hmm.
So then that's why you get laid on the chest of your mama, so you can sync yourself with the heartbeat that you was hearing already. See, we don't look at all these things. So that's a painting.
Hey, don't go anywhere. I want to tell you about our Zoom meeting draw-along. It's coming up. Be sure to check it out. We hope to see you there. Now back to my interview with Don Stephens. Do you think the shift for many artists should be to touch art? Because, there is a such thing as touch art.
Yes, but then also you're going to have to go to what the culture is trying to move towards.
Right.
Westernized civilization is trying to move towards.
Right.
Let's just keep it real. Because China got off what they got off. Mm-hmm. Everybody is scared of China being the 5G masters. Mm-hmm. They're scared about that going forward. So now they're going to change everything in our society. So if I'm a black male, I don't control nothing. I don't make no decisions for nothing. I got to wait until certain things go down to see which way I'm going to go. Mm-hmm. This is reality.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they say no more galleries, then guess what? I'm already ready on the internet end, so I'll just keep going down that road. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then figure out what to do with this tangible stuff that I got sitting around me.
Right.
Then that's when I start looking at it. This is what I learned from being with the October Gallery. Mm-hmm. You can't be that emotional about your work if you're trying to be a businessman with it. Mm-hmm. That means that if you would fix a price and you think it's too low because your emotions is with it, you better be around the people that have those type of monies in excess. Mm-hmm. Because if you're in a part of society that's 50,000 below and you're trying to get their attention just to drop $20, guess what? You know what I mean?
Right.
It's going to be a hard task.
Right. Gotcha.
To get their attention.
On a positive note.
All of it's positive, though. All of it's fine. All is one, as they say.
All is one. So true. So true. Messages of hope.
I'm always optimistic. Optimism is the best. Mm-hmm. That's why I smile so much. That's why I tell people at the end of my messages, keep creating.
Yes.
Or maintain creativity.
Yeah, I love it.
Because that's all you got. Mm-hmm. And it'll keep you smiling. Why do you think when you see somebody do a painting of a sun and of a sunrise or sunset, everybody reacts to it? Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Because we love to look at it, and we know what that is. So that's what you're doing on your everyday. Right. You have to be optimistic. And then put it to you this way. This is another one that I use too. Mm-hmm. And people bug out over this one. But I'm saying, I don't care what religion or spiritual thought you go with. We all can agree upon something made this place. Now, at that point, when something made this place or created this place, do you think that somebody, someone, or that entity or force was so loose in the mind that they made it so fragile that it made it so that the creation, man, can destroy it?
Good point.
No way in the world. Mm-hmm. No way in the world. Mm. We would have been done then. When they dropped the bombs in Nagasaki over there, we would have been done. Mm-hmm. But what did that do? Yeah. We wasn't gone. What did it do? It became a smoke. It traveled around and then it dissipated. Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, when you use observation, it's a line, shape, form, light, surface. These 5 things, sure, there's 7 or maybe 13, but these 5 right here is what you use every day in your life, from the minute you got out the womb to this very moment right
now. Leave the audience with your take on those 5 elements, I guess you would say, that have to do with your perception of life.
These are the things that I show people that in 5 minutes, I got a person drawing that never drew before. Let's go through them. Line, shape, form, light, surface. Let's go through it. What is a line? A line is an edge. It is also a mark. How is it a mark, Don? Based upon whatever you put in your hand. If I prick my finger and put it across the screen, or put the whiteboard behind me, prick my finger and put a slash on there, I left a mark of blood behind. That's still a mark. It's representing that edge that I may be looking at. So a mark is anything left behind by an individual human being that describes the edges that they're looking at, and we call it a line. Bam. Now, what are shapes? Well, after you get your line down, you transition right into doing shapes. But there's only what? 4 universal primes, really, which is what? Circle, square, triangle, rectangle. Everything else is made off of derivatives of these right here. That's it. So now everything is transitioning from you looking at that edge. So if you're looking at a chair or something, or you're looking at the mic, you're looking at the edges of the mic and you will start making a circle. Then after you make that circle, now you're going to start making us see space, the final frontier. These are the voyages. I won't be corny then, okay. But I'm a Trekkie all day. I'm a Trekkie all day. You know what I mean? Yeah, see? There you go. Live long and prosper. You know the deal. So yeah, the form is now, that's the breath, you see, or death of the situation. But you're still looking at the edges just to get that to go. So when I'm doing form, I try to show people how deadly the word perspective is and how scary it can be to you when you let it be scary. You're just looking at the edges. If you look at the edges of everything, then you don't have to worry about the word perspective. It does it on its own. So now we got line, shape, form. Now we go to the last two, light and surface. Well, we have to have light, which would be, if we're doing charcoal drawing, tonality. If we're doing paintings, it's going to be what? Full subjective color or subtractive color at that point. You see what I'm saying? CMYK, as we say, you know, for the digital world and stuff. RGB, you see what I'm saying? These things. This is where all of that comes into play now. I'm showing people, I start them off with drawing. So we talk about tonality. We talk about achromatic, non-color. You know what I mean? And, or a colorless color scheme where you're just dealing with something that's bright or something that's dark. So then you're looking around you to understand, well, what am I looking at when it comes to light and tonality that makes me take distance when I look at the light? Is the light diffused out there, or is it brighter out there, or is it brighter closer up to you? See, these things within that parameter of these modalities is explained in there. Then you go into color theory. You know what I mean? You go into white light additive color theorem, and you go into subtractive color theory. And you see how both are one, because mainly it's the subjective is nothing more than your experience of the additive. You're looking at the additive all day. You're looking at me, I'm looking at you. We're using additive, light, white light theorem to see each other. The light is hitting me, bouncing off numerous times, and now you see me. White light theorem. Everything is composed together and extracted out of the darkness as a white light. Hits a prism, turns into the wonderful rainbow that we love. You see, color theory now is subtractive theory and additive theory at that point. Subtractive describes everything in your world, all your packages, all your computer colors, all the plastic colors, t-shirt colors, dyes, all of that. Everything that you see with an advertisement on it is all dealing with subtractive color theory. Because it's putting colors together to make a darkness. Last one, surface. This is where you start getting into texture. Because you can't have surface without light, and you can't have light without surface. We don't live in a vacuum. So when you're looking at the edges of fur, you're looking at the edges of the skin rolling and moving, all this stuff rolling and moving, I get the person to realize at that point that surface doesn't become a two-dimensional idea until you stop it. Whether you take a picture of me like this, or in your mind, you see my movement and you see, oh, that was a nice movement. I'm going to stop down right there in my rendition. Mm-hmm. You see? So we're looking at surface, you're trying to figure out what's softness, what's hardness, what's scruffiness, and you're using these things. Now, you can use these things objectively, like directly, or existential, subjectively. You can just say, okay, I'm going to take the texture of the incense dust on my tabletop, mm-hmm. and I'm going to combine that with sandpaper, mm-hmm. and I'm going to make a painting based upon that, and I'm going to use a split complementary idea. I'm being existential. I'm being an abstract artist now. I'm taking elements from the third world, our world that we're in, mm-hmm. and breaking it down simply to make an abstraction or a work that you don't know its origins. It's formless until I give it explanation. Subjectively speaking, now when I'm using it, I'm looking at something, I'm looking at this bottle, and I'm saying, I want somebody to really think that there's water in this bottle when they look at this painting. Mm-hmm. And that's objective with those 5 principles. Gotcha. You see? And I give it to everybody. If it's an elder, it doesn't matter. I fight with, not really fight, I don't want to say fight. Let's say we have interesting debates. Because with elders, you know the situation. I made you. You're insignificant to me. But what I get them to see is like, no, yeah, you made me, but I'm one of the last ones that have the salt of the earth mentality. I'm here to show you how your mentality still exists. How those 5 things you've been doing, but you neglect it because you worried about everybody else. Mm-hmm. Now you worry about you. Mm-hmm. That's what I do with the elders. With the younger ones, I say, hey, you don't believe these 5 exist. I have to show you how they exist and possibly how they apply in the environment around you. Not do what the traditional art education or art school or regular school does. They give you all the theories and they don't tell you exactly where it's placed in the environment around you. They don't say that you can use statistics to say to yourself how much paint can go on the wall before I buy it. If I knew that type of stuff, then I would have been a little bit better at that time at math and statistics. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of people don't understand why you use algebra. You know, why even is it there? Everybody's stuck on basic business math, right? Addition, subtraction, percentages, decimal points, you know what I mean? This type of stuff. But I feel as if you come outside that, because everybody knows what those things is for, any like under the margin or above the margin person can tell you what that stuff for, but they can't tell you what quantum physics is used for. They can't tell you that algebra might show you how to make a building. And make sure when you put the structures up that it might stand at a 90-degree. They don't explain that. So that's my thing. I try to just let you know where these things lay when you're a younger person, so it gives you a better understanding. Because I was a life coach too, as a counselor they would call it, but it's a life coach, they say. So I would help a lot of these adjudicated youths get on track. Because a lot of them were, all right, this is what I would do. Take those 5 principles, I showed it to them. They was able to create. After they was able to create, they figured out that they don't like nobody on their back. So with these particular Hispanic and black males and females that I was dealing with, they was truly independent. We're talking about the hardcore little guy that had to see things they didn't want to see, but they had to deal with it. Okay, I showed them that they can go into an industry that cater to that attitude. And that industry is transportation. So the 2 young ladies that I dealt with at that time, they've been sector employees at driving buses. The other one transitioned to driving trains for the past 10 years. The other males that I dealt with, they all got their own little transportation companies after working for certain transportation companies. You see, got their own truck, was able to flip their little bit of money the way they wanted to. Now they have their own truck line. One's in Florida, one's over in Atlanta, and then everybody's on the East Coast that I dealt with. So, you know what I mean? It's just those type of things by just using those 5 things, because it's all there. You know, yeah, there's a mental aspect that goes with each one of those 2 as well, but you don't show the person that early. You just show them the rudimentaries so they can see and reinvestigate the environment. Both realms, elder and young, have to reinvestigate the environment. to enjoy it once again. With the elder, it's to see the light come in the bathroom and really enjoy the way the light dazzles and dances over all that stuff you brought and acquired. You see, not just splash, oh, all right, I'm late, I gotta get out of here. And this look right here, oh. Everybody makes that face trying to get out in the morning.
Yeah.
Because it's like a fight, like you really don't want to go, but you know to sustain your bottom line, you gotta go. You splash, you brush, you don't even look at nothing. You care less about how pretty things are at that point. You're like, I don't care, I gotta get out of here. You know what I mean? And I watched my mother do that for years and years and years. And I said, you know what? I'm gonna make sure people appreciate the everyday. Because without that sun moving the way it's moving, without the wind and the breezes coming in, so when I do a painting of a piece of sheer material floating in the window and put the right lighting to it, and I say morning tea, everybody goes, yeah, wow. I do have morning tea in front of a summer breeze window like that. Yeah. That's what we're supposed to do. Because everybody has those experiences. So it's an absolute must. You ask me once again that everybody understands you're an artist. If you didn't sit there as long as I did, that's not the issue. It's your human right to be an artist, to express, to have an experience. That's the bottom line.
I hope you enjoyed this special extended interview with Don Stephens. Remember, perfection is a lie. Repetition is the truth. Let's keep creating. See you soon.